before we get into today's reaction, no quirky intro here. I want to express support and solidarity to the Ukraine crisis going on right now. What's going on in the world today is terrible, and it deserves condemnation from the globe over, and it really, really sucks that this is still allowed to happen in the current day and age. It's a very depressing time for us all, and I'm hoping for all of you, including my Ukrainian contacts and friends, that you pull through this, and that somehow, some way, justice comes to Putin's smug face. That's pretty much all I have the articulation to say at the moment, but I felt like it was important that the very first thing out of my mouth when it comes to posting videos this year was to address such a monumental, world-changing thing, because this could snowball into anything. We don't know at this point. But I just wanted to express that right now, me and all my subscribers here, I'm sure any Ukrainians watching this, we are with you, we support you, and, you know, all of the love. And I hope that, like many, if you seek YouTube for comfort, or reactions for comfort, or, you know, you just want a distraction, I'm glad to be back, because I hope that I can help provide some of that for you. Okay, on with the video. Alrighty then, back once again for another reaction. The first reaction of 2022, and hopefully the first of many. It is Once Upon a Time, Season 2, Episode 2. It's been months since I've seen Episode 1, but because I love this show so much, I pretty much remember everything about it. I remember the twist over who Pan really was. I remember Greg and Tamara getting offed, which was of great delight to me. Rumple was made a bit upset by being reminded of this toy. Whatever. I've been assured that I wasn't supposed to remember that. That will be tied in a bit. So that's fine. There was the intriguing thing with the siren cum mermaid spreading discord amongst the group on the boat, and Emma eventually figured out and brought them together to save her so they could have a moment of reason. So that was pretty cool, and we basically established the leadership dynamics of the group upon landing. Like, look, we all have to work together no matter what we think of each other. It's time for a unified front so we can rescue Henry. I like it. So that's hopefully what we're going to do. Yes, I'm really looking forward to seeing where this season goes. I've been told by Atticus that he's really looking forward to my reaction to the finale, so that's already intrigued me, because this show goes from strength to strength, at least in my experience so far, so it's making me very curious as to what's in store. Oh boy, if you're wondering where I've been, it's pretty much same old. Mental health, busyness in real life, and, you know, just overall timing. That's basically it. Sometimes you think, oh, it's going to be all right to record on this day, but then plans change. It's like, okay, well, I think this Saturday might be free. Plans change. But over the past couple of months, I'm sure you already saw from an update I put out that I've been actually working on a lot of side projects that I'm going to also upload in the coming months. I'm still working on a top 100 characters in MLP and Equestria Girls. I'm working on a bunch of music videos. I'm working on another Owl House compilation. I'm working on a lot of stuff. But the main thing I also want to do is get back to reacting. So while I'm in a current bit of a rut with how to finish some of my side stuff, let's stockpile some reactions. Let's get some recordings going. I did say I will return to reaction duty in February, and that is what I'm doing. It may be the very end of February, but it is February. At least for patrons it is. But what better series to come back to than Once Upon a Time? It's the one I've always looked forward to the most. Anime and all that can wait. You know, anything that MLPG5 is going to be coming out with from March onwards, I think, can wait. Like, right now it's all Once Upon a Time, but there will be room for the other stuff in the coming months. So, yeah, basically I want to say I'm back. Like, even though I was supposed to officially be back in October, and then what happened to that? What happened to that? I really need to stop putting pressure on myself. That's the main thing. If there's anything that following VTubers has taught me, well, the like genuine ones anyway, is do it because you like to do it. Like, don't ever feel pressured. You know, don't like think of yourself as chained to your work, that kind of thing. And like, I often need like long, like mental breaks to sort of disassociate from the hardship of doing it versus, you know, like doing it as a whim on fun, that kind of thing. I'm losing my wordings because I don't script my videos. If I'd have wanted to go in depth, I really should have scripted something out, but oh well. What I'm basically saying is that passion wavers for doing reactions. I have been doing it for almost 10 years, bear that in mind. And the flagship series that I bound my channel to most of the time, that often had a weekly release that kept me going, it was My Little Pony. And ever since that ended, I think that's when my motivation started to take a knock, because it was like, that was like the main flagship series that I was super invested in. That was a series that got me thousands of views. That was the one with the most active community, and I based my whole identity around ponies. I'd made all the PMVs, the Pony Shenanigans series. I was part of Ponies the Anthology, which was a massive fandom group, and then it was all gone. Like, pony content was barely any more, which is why I'm glad that I'm interested in G5 so that can continue. But that's not to say that I haven't been enjoying all of these requested series. I love Once Upon a Time, I love all the anime I've been watching, but I would be lying if I said that they all had that same spark, like that kept hold of me. Like, you know, that one show that you treasure close to your heart. Like, and the second biggest thing that happened, well, not in terms of real life, but in terms of the channel, is that with my dad passing away in the summer of 2020, that was the biggest blow to like everything to do with my mood and what I do and stuff like that. Since his passing, we've all been really focused on ourselves as a family, and you know, making sure we can live comfortably and basically do the things that we weren't able to do before. Like, not in a sense of, oh, he's dead, we have freedom now, but no, more in the sense of, I don't know, in the nicer way of saying there's more freedom. It's not calling him a burden. God forbid we would ever call him a burden, but there are just some things that you can't do when you have someone to look after. And I think in a way I started to pull away from online creation, because I was like, I want to be going to the pub with my friends like I do every week now. I want to be going to the quiz night. I want to be going to the steak night. I want to go to the movies. I want to go to the arcade. I want to watch sports with my bros. Like, you know, I want to spend time with my mother while I still have it. Like, it's like, focus on YouTube sort of faded away, and that's where it's at an interesting crossroads for me, because I love making these videos. Like, it's a thing that I do love doing. So it's like trying to find that balance in your life, and I don't know if I'm making any sense at all, or if this ramble is just going nowhere, but I guess I just feel like I have to say something, because it's always so long now between reactions, and I feel the need to explain myself, because a part of me says, you have no good reason for being away for so long. But there's like, well, actually, I have several reasons that were good enough for me, but it's like, is it good enough for them? But then a part of me says, well, it shouldn't matter if it's good enough for them. It's your reasons. And people have been very understanding with me and have pretty much said that to me. Like, I really appreciate it, because a lot of the time it has come down to depression and just wanting to be in my own bubble, doing my own thing, and you guys have been very understanding with that, and I'm so grateful for your patience. I really love being able to reward you by coming back with something to give you, because, like, I cannot think what I've done to deserve everybody's loyalty. And I just appreciate it so much. So with that in mind, I am ready to come back and record a lot of content for you guys, and I hope this year can be the year of Luffyiscool. We are gonna grow. That's my new goal. It's to grow this channel. And so, without further ado, my friends, Once Upon a Time is back on the menu. Let's chow down. Well then, that's a piece of bad news, isn't it? Old Prince Charming is suffering, and I think Pan knows this, because he's saying, oh, by the end of this you'll be an orphan. So he's forecasting that Charming is going to die, and maybe at some point Snow will as well. Maybe. So yeah, as I was saying during the reaction itself, big fan of how all of the things that make Once Upon a Time great have come back to this. You know, I'm sure they were present in the previous episode as well, but it's always nice to get that reminder after spending so long away from the show, that once you come back and you see an episode and it's like, whoa, all of these elements are so good! And, you know, with the dialogue, tie-ins across the different parts of the episode, you know, the superb camera work and acting, the running theme throughout the episode of you know, being true to yourself and accepting who you are, like whatever that means to each character, and oh my goodness. And like I say, I think this show really nails pacing when it comes to spending time with certain groups and cutting between them. It makes me feel kind of One Piece-ish, like the anime and manga One Piece. Well, mostly the manga. When there's a massive scale arc going on and you have to check in with the different groups during the same chapter, like like peak Alabasta, that kind of era. I feel that kind of pacing from the way Once Upon a Time focuses its shift around the scenes, and it oh my goodness, there's like 4 different plot threads going on. I like it. It keeps things interesting and dynamic. So just as we're getting used to one state of affairs, we go to another state of affairs, like, oh, how is this going to change around? What character's going to do what? And you know, it makes for a viewing experience that doesn't stagnate. It doesn't make you bored of watching the episode, because even if, like, I'm not saying that happened at any point in this episode, but even if like a scene is starting to drag, or you don't like a certain thing that's happening, it won't be long until you're seeing like a 20-minute scene from an entirely different location with an entirely different group of characters. So every episode is always going to give you moments to cheer or moments to love, and that is the mark of a great show. Like, it gives you greatness no matter what, and I think that's really special and why it's been able to resonate with me so much as a show. Like, I'm loving the dynamic Pan seems to be bringing. Like I say, he gives me a sort of early on Rumpelstiltskin vibes, how he'd always be popping in and out as this know-it-all with powers and stuff like that, and you know, he's the one being all cryptic and stuff. He's sort of filling in the role that Rumpel used to, and that makes him enjoyable for me. Rumple having his own mental thing going on kind of got confusing when Bell got involved, because it was like, okay, so is this Bell? Is it a conjured Bell? Did he actually teleport the Ryoba? But how does that work? Because he could have just teleported them all in the first place, since they needed the portal to get here. So, like, that wouldn't even work, would it? So because they didn't use specific enough terminology to do with her being here, like, or however it was that they said. They didn't specifically specify which way or the other it actually was. Was the real Bell teleported here, or did he conjure a Bell? Not conjure the real, but conjure a Bell. And you see, this is where the English language can trip itself up sometimes, because sometimes specific words are needed to separate specific concepts that can be described with the same words. Like, they used words that can describe both situations, and so I'm like, which one is it? You're not telling me. Like, am I meant to infer it based on my knowledge that you can only get here through the portals and crap like that? Like, am I supposed to infer that because of that, this is something he's just conjured up to talk to himself, basically? Like, is that it? I'm sure I'll find my answer in Heidi's essays. I'm sure I'll find it. But still, the most important thing, though, is the entertainment value, and there is always entertainment to be found, especially when we have characters like Rumple and Hook running around. As I said, super cool to see Hook back. He's still got the smarm, he's still got the rum, he's and I felt sorry for him, I really did, when he was insisting, look, it's Pan's game, we have to follow his rules, trust me, I know this shit. And Regina goes against it, and then Peter Pan talks about being disappointed in Hook. Like, are you kidding me? Like, he was the one who was saying, that's not fair. That really isn't fair on him. Oh, but Regina being her usual impatient self, that tracks. I really loved the flashback. After I figured out what was going on and what they were trying to show us, I really enjoyed that whole thing of when they first started out in their rebellion against the Queen and deciding, no, Snow White is the rightful heir to this kingdom. We need to go for it. I knew I wasn't off base when I was like, well, hang on, I'm sure only Arthur can pull the sword from the stone. Like, that's the whole legend, isn't it? So, like, how can... That's why I made the joke, Snow Arthur White. Obviously, it's a middle name we don't know about. And it all made sense by the end. It was a placebo, cleverly planted by Charming. He just pretended he couldn't pull it out. That's big brain. That truly fooled me. That was really well done. And I love that the dwarves, I love that the dwarves had their suspicions about him. Like, I don't think it reflects badly on them. I think it shows great respect to their agency as characters, that they questioned his motives a little bit, like, because to them it seemed like the perfect solution. Well, why don't we just let her rule and just let's all just live in peace? Like, you know, even though we have to take her at her word, you know, at least she'll not be killing people. But Charming was all bent upon the whole thing of like, yeah, but should we just let evil walk all over us? Like, we have to do something. Like, he wanted like that. He still had that drive to do the heroic thing, and to them it didn't make much sense because dwarves have always been logic driven. Like Grumpy is like one of the only ones that feels like genuine love, isn't he? Like, so yeah. Emma, super heartbreaking stuff with her family and stuff, and like coming to terms with the fact that, no, I still consider myself an orphan. My parents can't just randomly reappear in my life and expect everything to be hunky-dory. That's not how emotions work. Like, it's not how childhood trauma works. And that all came back to the surface heart-wrenchingly, got me tearing up a bit, and got the map to work. Yeah, I see what you did there, Pan. Yeah, no, that cuts deep. That really cuts deep. And as I say, I hope that gets parents to ease off on her a little bit. Like, please don't smother the poor girl. She's still trying to adjust to the fact that you're back in her life. Like, she had to go so long without you. Like I said, it's like they're just friends. Like, there is no, like, family feeling there. And that's okay. Like, you can see her as a daughter if you want, but don't expect to pressure her to see you as parents back. And that is completely valid. Emma, you are valid. And I'm hoping that her parents are starting to see that now, but oh boy. We have to come back to the fact that Charming is now in need of saving just as much as Henry is. Yeah, that's not going to be pretty, considering how effective this poison was against Rumpel. Not good at all. And it also, like, kind of intrigues me that Pan says he knows Henry hasn't quite forgiven Emma. Possibly for giving him up as a child. Yeah. Oh, because it did seem like Emma was forgiven, but yeah, I've run out of things to say now. I am planning on recording more soon. Probably going to do that tomorrow from when I'm recording this. You'll probably tell by the fact that my t-shirt will change, but until then, I'm glad I've got my YouTube stuff set up again. I had a big cleanup in my room, and so half of my YouTube stuff came down. But I basically found a better place for the light. It's directly in front of me this time, like a proper YouTube light. So that seems pretty cool. It used to be like at the side, and it would cause a weird glow and shadow, but it's in front of me now. I think I've done something to OBS to sort of improve the overall camera quality as well, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, overall I'm really happy to be back. This was a very strong episode to come back to, and I'm looking forward to the rest, and I shall see you guys next time.